year, she like DM'd me and asked if I wanted to be friends with her because she didn't know anyone. And I was like, sure, because
Is this like Snapchat?
Instagram, yeah.
Okay,
she
Instagram.
DM'd
Okay, all right.
Instagram.
Gotcha.
And slowly, like, we've kind of seen different sides of her that we're not completely okay with.
Gotcha.
And everyone else is like, you should tell her not to come to homecoming with us, and I feel bad.
She invited herself to her homecoming.
I'm not the type of person to say no.
herself.
Like, I feel bad saying no. She doesn't really know anyone here. I'm not really okay with her.
She's trying to beat me up.
Tell her that she's a bad influence.
Okay.
I have something to add.
So, okay, all right. Oh, there's more. But wait, there's more.
She tried to beat me up.
Why? Yeah, tell us the reason though.
Beat you up or beat you up?
Beat me up.
Oh, okay. I thought you said beat me up. I thought this was like a Star Trek thing.
I was in speech, right?
Okay.
And then I sit like at the table like close to her, and there was a girl at her table that I turned around to talk to, and then she's like, do we have a problem? She's like, you can turn back around. And then she turned around and said, I effing hate that B word.
I mean, I think that's
And
pretty
then,
valid.
yeah.
For why?
And I got her cool.
See, most of the conversations from her, I've already heard her say that she would be willing to beat up multiple people at the school, and I do not want to be on that list.
Hey, I'm not on that list.
I feel like she's all.
I appreciate it.
She left her. She was
We don't cancel them.
Well, I mean, okay.
I'm taking her, bro. Sam, that's perfect.
Okay. So, I understand that concern. Okay? But would it be possible to sit down with her? Because in a situation like, ghosting her, okay? But maybe sit down and say, look, within the confines of this social circle, this is the behavior that everyone expects. So, and just say, if you want, it's like we're welcoming you, we're trying to welcome you. But this is, and maybe she doesn't know. Maybe that's just how she thinks things should be.
Well, she calls us goody goodies, so I think she's aware that she doesn't really fit in.
Well, then that's a whole other.
Yeah, she definitely does not fit in.
Trapped her whole friend group and easily wants to go to
But, yeah, I mean,
Hey,
so if
maybe
that's
that's
a
like
situation,
first
where
grade
you're honestly,
school
in good faith, say, look, we tried, we've tried, and then if she doesn't want to conform to those social norms, then it's like, sorry,
This like made me want to punch my computer.
life is short. We tried,
So I was like,
so,
Get out.
no.
where's it?
But it's always a good idea to at least have some type of communication as opposed to like walking away from no reason. So you can at least say in good conscience.
Like, it's not that hard to do your taxes. I don't.
Well, she sits at her lunch table, so when am I going to kick her out?
Yeah, that's tough to do.
I'm just like complaining about my
This is why you lunch in here, I don't have to bring it up. So, okay. Okay, so that is a tough one.
Yeah.
Okay, so start that up. All right, so here's what's going to happen today. Once you have page one and the front and back of page one, you're going to come up here. I'm going to look over it, and I'm going to see if there's anything you need to change. Don't be annoyed if I say, "Whoa, that's bad," okay? Because it's pretty unusual that people have everything right the first time, okay? Usually there's some minor things that you want to tweak. Now, before you come up here, let's point out a couple of things. That on this lab, anything, whether it's velocity, acceleration, force, whatever it is, anything pointing down is going to be a negative value, okay? Like Morella, when you're landing, which direction are you going?
Down.
Down, okay? You're going to be going in this direction. Therefore, your velocity should be a negative value, okay? You should have a negative velocity, okay? And we're defining the surface of the moon as the reference point, so that's going to be 0. So on your descent, your displacement should be a negative value. So there's a question on the bottom of page 1 that basically says, you're following and you lose the engines, what's going to be the velocity of impact? and you're gonna fall 5.6 meters, which is quite a ways, okay? Like, this ceiling is like 2.5, so you'd be like falling twice as high. So, keep in mind, so since you're gonna be going down when you land, your velocity has to be negative, okay? Because that's the direction that you're going. But again, it's like, well, what's the square root of 4? Oh, plus or minus 2. So you just choose the negative root because you should use that equation on that particular problem. When in doubt, set up a chart. A force applied, force opposing, force net. Okay? Now, in any vertical motion, listen to me, listen to me, listen to me. In any vertical calculations of force and acceleration, you always have to pay the gravity mafia of negative 8,350, okay? So no matter what, that is there. You have to pay the gravity mafia in any vertical calculation, okay? Always there. So on that first one, you go to full throttle, you have an applied force of 10,000 newtons, okay? Of those 10,000 newtons, here's the main idea. You've got to pay the gravity mafia 8,350. So what you have left over is what you can actually use to accelerate. And it is only net force, and I emphasize this again and again and again. It is only net force that equals mass times acceleration, okay? It's not applied force, it's not opposing force, it's only net force. Now, sometimes there might not be an opposing force, okay? Like you're gonna do some horizontal calculations, like when you fire the ship and you wanna make it go sideways, okay? Well, you're on the moon, there's no atmosphere because it doesn't have enough gravitational field. There's no alien squirrels or anything like that or penguins pushing against you. So again, set up this chart. Oh, you can have an applied force, positive or negative, depending upon which way you wanna go. And then you ask yourself, horizontally, is there any horizontal mafia on the moon? No, there isn't, okay? So there's no horizontal mafia on the moon, so you don't have to worry about that. So in that situation, your applied force is your net force, because there's nothing working against it. That's like Topher going up to the freshman and just taking his watch and selling it, okay? And easy, don't get that excited, okay? It's like, ugh, okay, no. Don't get me wrong, I don't like freshmen either, but let's have a little bit of civility here. So, ask yourself, is there an opposing force? If there isn't, hey, that's cool. Now, vertically, if you fire the engines, you always have a net force acting in that direction, because, or excuse me, an opposing force, because you always have to pay off the gravity mafia. So, when you look at this in terms of the vertical motion versus the horizontal motion, so one of the things we'll talk about when we get into projectile motion, which is like you throw a ball and it goes like this, and this will be applicable to this lab as well, is that what happens in the X stays in the X. What happens in the Y stays in the Y. So it's kind of like Vegas, okay? You know what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas? What happens in the X stays in the X. What happens in the Y stays in the Y, okay? Marry the two shall meet. So when you're talking about a horizontal motion, that's completely separate than what's happening in a vertical sense, okay? So just keep that in mind. So you're gonna come up, I'm gonna look over your papers. I'm gonna give you the all clear. When that happens, what you're gonna do, now I gotta switch from this laptop over to that laptop, so give me 1 second.
Neville's blocking. I would probably cry.
Okay, so once I sign off on your paperwork, here's gonna be the sequence. Go back, grab a laptop, and you can work together with a partner if you want. So grab a laptop. Now, you have to find a program, and it's called interactive physics 2000. So what you need to do is go down here in that search bar, and you're going to begin to type, and it should pull up, because there's not, those laptops don't have that many files on them. So just click on that. Now, the sub-program that you're going to run is loaded on the old style thumb drives, and I've got some of them up there on top of the computer card. So put that into that USB port, and then once you get that, then you've got to go up to the old style, this open file icon up there. So go to that, and then you're going to find, hopefully, in this case, it's like a D drive.
This is ancient.
It is ancient, but it works. So then, what the main thing you're going to look for is a program that says the Lunar Lander Modification for Burkham. So that should be stored on that thumb drive. So you got to go through and you got to find that drive. So do that. Click on that, and this is what it should look like when it opens up. So once it gets opened up, because I only have like 4 or 5 thumb drives, once it gets loaded up, you can actually take that thumb drive out and return it back to the cart. You don't have to have that in to run the program. So there's a couple of things that you can do on the program. So this is this value, that main thruster. So that's going to change your vertical force applied here. So this is changing your applied force that's coming from this engine. These two control the motion on your horizontal axis, okay? So if you wanted to go left, all you have to click left. If you wanted to go right, click right. So it's keeping track of a whole bunch of different things. And you can tell what's happening. So this is your horizontal acceleration. So this is your AX. This is your VX, okay? So this is what's happening in the X direction. This is your acceleration in the Y. So there's your vertical acceleration. This is how fast you're going in the Y direction. This is the value of the main thruster. So this will be your applied force, okay? This is going to be important. This is reading the value of the applied force. And then this just keeps track of time. So let me run it right quick. Just hit launch. Hold that up. I'm going to crash this thing, but and hold on. By the way, if you want to clear out this graph, it's the weirdest thing. Click in that gray area, and then if you just move that at all, then it resets the graph. That's the only way to clear off the graph. Why that works, I don't have the faintest idea, but that is the only way to clear out that graph. I'm going to crash this thing just to get some data. Okay, we crashed and burned bad. Okay, so after you go through and hopefully get it landed, what you're going to do is, here's what you need the actual data from. So over here, when you go to land it, what you need to do is, and this is true of any computer, you always want to check that it's actually working like it should. So what you want to do is you're going to come in here and you're going to pick a point in time, like this is when it landed. So I'm going to record my acceleration in the Y, like I would write down negative 0.45, my velocity in the Y, negative 0.231, and then the value of the main thruster, 6,100 newtons. So I would pick these 3 points, okay, and write them down where it says simulator data number 1. Now, what you want to do is calculate the net force, okay? To do that, I would take 6,100, there's my force applied. It's the same parameters. I've got a downward force of negative 8,350. So I would take 6,100, and you want to show me this. So, because everybody's numbers are different. So you would take 6,100 plus a negative 8,350, and you would calculate the net force, okay? So the net force is going to come from the applied force plus your force opposing. Then you're going to take that acceleration, to get that calculated acceleration, you're going to take that net force and divide that by 5,000 kilograms, and then you're going to calculate the acceleration to see if the computer program is calculating it like it should, okay? Then you're going to tell me, hey, is this thing speeding up or slowing down? So you're going to look at the sign of velocity and acceleration, tell me if it's speeding up or slowing down. So then what you want to do is come down here and you can pick this thing at the bottom, and then you can slide that back. And I'm going to pick another point like this. So I'd say, okay, because I want you want to test this at 2 different points. Don't use the same value of the main thruster twice. That's the whole point of this thing. So then I'd say, okay, here's my next data point, negative 0.31, 6,800. There's my velocity. Calculate my net force, calculate the acceleration. Boom, you're off to the races. Now, then you got a bunch of questions to answer, all right? Over here, when you get to questions 5 and 6 on the back side, what you're going to try and calculate on questions 5 and 6 is the value of the applied force to generate that acceleration, okay? So one acceleration is negative, the other acceleration is positive. So here's what I want you to think through. If you want to have a positive acceleration, does your applied force have to be bigger or smaller than the weight of the ship? Bigger, okay? So if you're going to have a positive acceleration, and I'm not saying you're going up, I'm just saying you have a positive acceleration, okay? So don't confuse the sign of acceleration with direction, okay? So if you look at force net equaling force applied plus force opposing. So the only way you can have a positive net force is to have a positive acceleration, which means your applied force has to be bigger than the weight of the ship, okay? Also, remember, it is only net force that equals mass times acceleration. So here's what I don't want you to do. Don't take 5,000 kilograms, multiply it by that acceleration, and go, oh, there's my answer, I'm done. Physics is easy. F equals ma, okay? When you do need to take mass times acceleration, okay? But you need to understand what you're finding is the net force. What you're ultimately trying to find is the applied force, okay? So you can think of it in terms of vectors, you can think of it in terms of the chart, you can think of it in terms of the equation, but let me give you a hint. Both of those forces need to be positive values, okay? So when you get those answers, that should be a positive value. Then you've got a velocity time graph, okay? There's a whole bunch of things that I want on that velocity time graph. Indicate if it's speeding up or slowing down. If you want to do like arrows and put an up arrow to go, oh, it's speeding up. If you want to draw a down arrow to indicate that it's slowing down, that's cool. If you're into coloring, it's like, I want to do shading, and maybe you want to shade a particular section of the line blue if it's speeding up and red if it's slowing down. Okay, that's cool. Just show me what your color code is. The other thing that you want to do is indicate if the net force is positive or if the net force is negative. Okay, and remember, force net equals mass times acceleration. So it's the only way you can have a negative acceleration is if your net force is negative. If you want a positive acceleration, you have to have a positive net force. Okay? So again, you can either label the sections positive or negative, or again, if you want to do shading, highlighting, whatever, you want to do it that way, I don't care. okay? But just make sure that I can clearly see what you have going on. If you're not sure if you did that right, give it to someone in the class and go, hey, can you figure out what I got going on here? And if they look at it and go, oh, yeah, okay, you're probably okay. And if they look at it and go, I have no idea what you're doing, there's no way I'm going to, okay? Got that. Now, this is a weird deal. Sometimes when you load up that computer program, and like I said, this is the old school way. So sometimes what they do is like a security check. It will ask you for the last word on the last page of the operator's manual. So, so it won't do this every time, but sometimes when you start up that program, it might say like, what's the last word on the last page of this book? So it might say like, what's the last word on page 4-76? So you're going to find page 4-76, and you're going to type in the word created, okay? They did this back in the old days to make sure you didn't have like a bootleg copy of the program. And so in other words, like, oh, you know, I'll give you the disk and you can upload the computer on, upload the program on your computer at home. But then if the whole key to this was that you had to have the manual to answer that question, otherwise you can't run the program. So that used to be a big problem, like when people had bootleg copies of programs. Okay, so I'm done. So come up. I'm going to look over your stuff. If there's anything to change that. When you get done, and I sign off on it, and grab.
Are mine okay if I change?
Yeah, you're fine.
Everything's gonna be fine.
What's your password, Mr. Bergkamp? How do I log in as myself?
2 3s, 4 zeros.
Oh, really? They can work on there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, Gracie. Which direction is this thing going to go when it lands?
Down.
Okay. See where it says sketch tree running diagram? I got nothing. You know how annoying that is? Okay. We're talking about weight. That's down the direction. That's gonna act down right. Down this line as a. Yes, that's the whole point. Okay.
Wait, Gracie. Let's see here.
Okay.
Oh,
Where it says-
where do we get the thumb drives?
I got nothing.
Noah, what does yours look like?
What do you mean?
Your free buddy sketch on number 9.
Looks like this. Where's the thumb drives?
There should be a bunch of them up there on the top of that.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't have one either.
Morella does not have a free body, right?
Okay, okay.
I mean, I think.
Okay.
course supplies. Oh, so the course supplies. This, the negative 8.35.
Is that what I put? Wait, what number was that? Yeah, I put cheating up. Guys, do you want to work as a group?
Yes, so wait.
How do I turn this on?
Okay, now is this what yours looks like?
What's the F?
If I drew it, do you think I show it to you again?
Chemical alchemy?
I know, but he already told me what I did.
Did you guys ever play the Alchemist game, you know? What is it called? Yeah, Ultimate Alchemy?
You talk about the acceleration.
I did. I had on my tablet when I was younger. My little, like, off-brand tablet.
Or you can say the net force. And then we can talk about net force and the acceleration.
Try an app. Windows can't open this type of file.
Hey, why? Is it Green Monday?
Am I supposed to open it in Adobe? Say that? I have no idea either.
I think I went to their instructions. It's green.
You know what my biggest pet peeve is? When on computers scrolling down, you have to swipe up. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know what are we supposed to open the file on?
It's just something like your file.
I know, but it says it can't support it. It says you have to use an app to open the file.
No, you have to open the, look, you have to open the program first, okay?
Yeah, I wrote it down.
Where's the
You have to
program?
go to Interactive Physics 2000 first.
This, Interactive Physics 2000. Search it.
You search for the
Let's look.
program, then you open it up.
Lunar Lab module? Interactive.
No, you're okay.
Oh, I don't have that. I don't have interactive.
Okay, on number 8, for the love of all things physics, which direction is this thing gonna go when it crashes? What's this negative 4?
Nice.
Plus minus 2, what do you need to pick?
What is this?
Negative root.
I told you.
That's so awkward.
What page?
10 to 12. 10-2 of the interactive manual.
Everyone makes mistakes.
What is the last word of page 4-37?
Inches.
Are you sure? Okay, perf. Now what? Okay, wait. Oh, I hate this computer. No, that's not. Turn on. How do I open?
Okay. So, when you look at these
Do I do
calculations,
this?
was there any opposing force? No. So,
What's it
Oh, no. That's not what I want to do.
Why is it on a record? Why don't you just fix it out?
What?
Why is it on a record player? It's a record.
everything else is good.
I don't know. How do I look? It's not coming up.
You got negative
I
sign,
think it's that
that's
one. Alexa Media.
I got her bird camp, don't worry. She was like, isn't this supposed to be positive? No.
Okay. Stop talking.
Perfect. Okay.
How do we, so we just have to wait on first? That's like the last thing we have to do.
Hello.
There's nothing on the phone.
How do we wait?
Yeah, we just have to check that it's working.
Ron, did you get that?
Yes, I got it to work.
I haven't gone on this page.
Computer science is not for me.
Can we like retry it if we mess it up?
Oh yeah. What? The freak? Oh no! Okay.
Hey, don't have too much fun without me.
How do you move it over?
Left.
The velocity of this thing.
How do you change that?
I don't know. We'll see.
The horizontal?
There's not a horizontal thruster.
Yes, that's what
Those
those
two?
are.
Oh, okay.
It was like ancient, bruh.
It's fine. Okay, let's. No. Just put it at a point, and then we have to make sure it's working. What did you
No,
do?
you have to land it first.
No, we don't.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't have to land it.
Yes, you do.
That's the first thing you have to do is land it. Right?
I thought we have to check that it works first.
No,
Yes, we land it first, right?
yes.
Brother, are you still using your flash drive?
Oh, I don't have to keep it in there?
No, you don't.
Oh, okay. I was like, here's not that
When
many.
you exit out of the program, when you get done, do not save the program. Because then it
I know.
overrides what I already have. So do not save the program when you get done.
Launch. Hello. What? Oh, maybe
It's
we
too
probably,
fast.
it's because, yeah, launch.
Big.
Mine.
It's like your ID number and then the password that you sent.
I know.
Marilla, which file was it?
Little modification for birthday.
Yeah, just that.
Sorry.
Alright, slide.
Launch. Oh God, oh God. You wanna do it?
Alright.
This is not for me. Personally.
Okay.
I finished my resume. Do you wanna see it? Oh wait.
Okay.
I'll show you a little.
Because the only thing you
Danger!
Do I have to get exactly on it?
I think so. Ooh, I like your shoes that I Maybe you should wait until like the end to do the velocity thruster. Did you just say do it in your first try? Yay!
I did it first
I did
try.
like fifth try.
I did it before you.
Okay, well,
Alright, acceleration.
okay, we can use this one.
You gotta be kidding me. You got the last word, Dave.
8100 deuces. Are you done, Kaylee? Yeah! Yay, just in time.
Are you writing down all the data?
Yeah, we just got it, so now we have the first one.
The main thrust.
Oh, we have to calculate after that.
So arrow. The arrow. No, the other arrow.
Acceleration. 0.05?
Scroll.
So what's the mass?
Is that 91?
It's the 5,000 kilograms.
Maggie sound here.
Oh, I guess I could have just looked right there.
Wait,
Isn't the mass like 5,000?
why don't you make a, what's it called, a chart, Gracie?
I'm trying to F-U-C-K. Oh, you
What
gotta
do you
make the
need for calculated? Negative 80? The opposite? Let me check your work real quick.
I never said I was right.
Your calculation. 5,000 times, what's the moon's force?
Wait, how did we find this again?
Yes, it's right.
How do we find this? The 8350? Is that this times this?
That's just F and G. Yeah, it's just the mass times the gravitational acceleration.
So it's this times this?
Yeah.
Well, I kind of want my calculator now. Wait, did you already land it?
Yes.
You see. Okay, I got it.
I don't know. I think I did right.
Well, we got very different numbers for the
Bro, what? Oh, it's 350.
Just find F and S. That's that force.
How do you know what the weight is?
It's the way that we use on this, the 83. No, it's just like
I hate Sam. I hate him.
it's the same first try.
The math is
It's
negative.
the same number.
He did not give us very much space.
Wait,
Do we have to do sig figs on this?
Just go with 3.
No, I know, but if it's like name 0.05, I don't, you know, can I, never mind. Are you gonna put sig figs? Oh, you're just putting negative, okay.
What you guys got, yeah?
Yes.
Hey, wait. You guys are going to
Yes.
Sam?
We have to do it again?
Yes.
Yeah, but we just put it at a different place. I don't think we have to run it twice.
It is speeding up. Right?
Oh no, because we have to change the value of the main thing.
Yeah.
So we have to do it again.
Hey, make sure they're good numbers, guys. No, you don't have to do it again. You can just slide it.
No, because the main thruster doesn't change when it changes.
Wait, how do we know if this is right?
We got the same number.
Oh no! Where's the back button?
All you have
No, they're both just.
is net force and acceleration should be positive.
Well, you gotta land it and then you gotta find your point. Yeah.
How is that a crash?
Because you saw.
Press try again. Press launch.
I can't believe they dated.
Who? Yeah, same. Oh no.
I thought she was kind of. No, I guess she's not. She didn't really like doing that stuff with Kyle, huh?
She did it?
No, they did?
I thought so.
No, that's where they broke up.
Yeah, they broke up because she didn't want to.
Oh really? Where did our spaceship go?
I understand why Amber can't pick.
I'm trying to.
Did you just see it?
Okay.
Oh my god.
If you push it up, it'll speed up.
Hey, come on, hustle. We only have
Yeah,
like.
what the? It's like glitching.
We only have like 30.
Hopefully I didn't break it. It's fine, we can do the other questions right now.
Why can't we just guess?
I don't.
So we have to land it 2 times?
What?
But then the main thruster wasn't changing value.
Oh, I don't think it's the main thruster that has
no,
to
you
change
have
value, does
You gotta
it?
find force net. Or net force.
I think it was just we were calculating.
So you found your force.
I might have been wrong,
this.
Gracie.
And then
I'm
your force
sorry.
opposing is this times this. Is the acceleration on the moon times the mass. That's your force opposing, force of gravity, blah blah blah. So the chart looks like this. Your force opposing. Yeah. negative 1.67.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it should be 8,350 negative.
Jesus Christ, guys, come on. We're on a limited time. I can't have homework tonight. Let's go. What?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Dime?
Sign in what?
Yo, I'm gonna need that after y'all.
So, if something,
Has this been going this whole time?
Oh my god.